I've been wanting to talk about this for a while, and I've been kind of like apprehensive, because it's unconventional. But a lot of you may or may not know, that I was addicted to drugs. For about 5 years, I was struggling with a drug addiction. Last year, I was in rehab for 7 months when I was in New Jersey. You guys may or I don't know, may not know why I went to New Jersey, but that's why I went to New Jersey, to get sober. I went to 12-step meetings. I had a sponsor for a short period of time, very short period of time, and I tried to do the 12-step program. And I know what they say in rehab, trying is lying. I did try, I'm not lying. But anyway, I got out of rehab last year in March. 4 days later, I relapsed. I went home to Florida. 4 days later, I relapsed, and I then continued to use the drugs for or 5 more months. Literally the whole time I had been using drugs, I would cry and talk to my friends about my drug friends, who I'm no longer friends with anymore. But anyway, I would talk to them about wanting to quit and it not being fair. I didn't, for the longest time I didn't have insurance, and that's why I couldn't get into rehab. That's what took me so long until I finally got into rehab. But that's a whole other story, and I'll talk about that another day. But anyway, what I want to talk about is how I got sober. And so after my 5-month relapse, I had a spiritual awakening. It was my second awakening. My first awakening was a year prior to that, while I was in active addiction, and I thought I had drug-induced psychosis, because when you have a spiritual awakening, you do feel like you're in psychosis. You don't view life at all the way you normally viewed it. You're not in the program anymore. And what I mean by the program is that you no longer are thinking the way they've programmed, the government, the elites, whoever. It's even on a spiritual level. Anyway, I'll get into that at a whole other point, another time. But yeah, so I literally thought I was going out of my fucking mind. But I documented everything. Not only did I document everything that was going on in my life and all the weird situations that were happening, but also the research that I had been doing on quantum physics, and the research I had been doing on spirituality, and the research I had been doing on just ancient knowledge on conscious awareness, consciousness, and the law of attraction. I don't like calling it that, but I like to call it manifestation, I guess, is really what it kind of boils down to. And so I decided to apply frequency healing in my life. And sound frequency is something that I've used for healing. And a lot of you probably know about it now. It's not, it's become really popular. Thank God, because it's literally everything is a frequency. And, anyway, I started meditating, and I started meditating at night and sleeping with frequency sounds on. And I'm gonna get deeper into this at another time, But what I want to raise awareness on and what I want to expose about my life is that I got sober, you guys, on my own. And I don't mean to say that in a way where I'm being like, I did it on my own, guys. Yeah, me. No. What I mean is that I didn't need a meeting or meetings. And I'm not recommending this. I'm just expressing my experience and what worked for me. And so I didn't need meetings. I didn't have a sponsor. I don't go to meetings. I meditated a lot. And I don't mean like, no. I laid in bed every night. I closed my eyes. I focused on my third eye. I focused on my chakras. I realized, actually, during rehab, I did do some Reiki, and that my heart chakra was blocked. And I took that into an account, and I started healing myself with crystals, rose quartz specifically, on my heart chakra, meditation, and sound frequencies. And there's different frequencies for different results. And so somebody's honking at me because I'm literally like on my phone driving. Super safe, Susie. But anyway, I literally was like crying and felt so compelled to share my story. So here I am, driving or not. Anyway, yeah, so the sound frequencies that I was using was geared, and again, I'll talk about this another time and get more into detail about the frequencies and which ones I used. And so the frequencies I used were the ones for miracle-based frequencies. And so, excuse me, I remember in rehab, I kept focusing on what I didn't want. I don't want to be an addict. I don't. And when I had my spiritual awakening, I started realizing that the universe doesn't know what you want and what you don't want. It just knows what you focus your energy and your thoughts and your feelings on. And so when I started to focus on what I do want, which is spiritual abundance, which is peace and serenity, which is time with my boys, which was freedom to wake up in the morning and not do drugs, freedom to go outside because I'm not paranoid, and communicate with people, human beings, and connect with human beings because I wasn't paranoid, but again, I don't focus on what I don't want. All I focus on is I envision the life I do want, and I meditate on that. And like I was saying, I remember in rehab, I kept focusing on my obsession, and they talk about that in rehab, that there's an obsession that you get in addition to an addiction, because you can't just have an addiction. You got to get slammed with it all, and it has to take over your entire soul, because it does, your mind, your body, and your soul. You get a physical addiction, a mental addiction, and a spiritual addiction. I feel like I look like fucking Minnie Mouse with these things on my head. Anyway, so part of it was that I had an obsession more than a physical addiction. My obsession was consistently torturing me. And so I then forgot about my obsession, and I started praying for a miracle. And I started meditating on miracles and what those miracles meant to me, what those miracles were. All I wanted was freedom. All I wanted was time with my boys, a relationship with my mom. I did not want to be controlled by this obsession. I didn't want the financial burden of spending all of my money that I made on these drugs. And I did that for a week straight. Mind you, I had been going through my spiritual awakening for about a year prior. But I meditated deeply and heavily with my crystals and my frequencies on this. And I woke up one day, literally a week after I had been doing this. Like, not literally, not exactly a week, but like roughly. I woke up one day and my normal routine is wake up and before I even pee, grab my pipe and start doing drugs. If there was any left, because I usually would just smoke for days until it was gone and then I would knock out. But if I didn't, I would, literally pee and run right to my dealer and grab drugs. And that's what I did. And when I woke up, I didn't even think about drugs. And of course, when reality kicked in, of course, because it does, I thought to myself, that's funny. I don't want to get high. I really don't want to get high. And I'm going to ride this out for as long as I can. And I looked at my drawer of paraphernalia and I closed it. And I said, all right, I'm not going to go buy drugs today or right now. I'm not even going to focus on the future. I'm just right now, I don't want drugs. And that was 2 months ago. I haven't gone back. I haven't gone to my dealer. In fact, I have no desire. None. Call it what you want. I say I'm healed. Y'all can call it whatever the fuck you want. My obsession has been lifted. My addiction is gone. I don't need help. I don't need no offense to anyone. I don't mean this to sound superior by any means. I am not the chosen one. This can happen to anyone, and it does. This happens to millions of people around the globe. I'm not the only one. I do realize that this is an unconventional method of sobriety. I'm not recommending this. I'm just sharing my experience, strength, and hope. I really want to raise awareness on consciousness, on the power of frequency healing and the power of manifestation and meditation. And that is it. I'm going to post some more informative kind of videos because I do feel at this point that this is my calling. I did not want to work with addicts. In fact, I had been planning on opening an assisted living facility for women who are homeless and mentally ill. And I always said, nope, not drug addicts. Nope. And I had a vision yesterday during a tarot reading that why would I not share this if it's worked for me? I was struggling for 5 years. The 12-step program did not work for me, as it does not work for many other people. And I'm not, again, I just for the record, I am not knocking anyone's modality of sobriety. I am merely expressing what has worked for me. And that is sound healing, meditation, manifestation, and that's it. Conscious awareness. My reality shifted. And so can yours. Peace.